evening, guys. So this is your tutorial letter 101 for IRM4724. So we're gonna go through the basics of HTML5. So you have seen the question from your second assignment 2, where you are requested to code the code to produce the output that we given by your lecturer. So we're just gonna go through some basics just to give you a background of how this is actually done so that you can do it on your own when you're practicing. And please do not cram. Make sure you do not cram. You master HTML5 and you master the basics. If you check on the group, I have shared HTML5 cheat sheet. It's got paragraphs, how to create paragraphs, how to create tables, how to create rows, how to create cells, how to create break, how to bold. So these are what we call HTML tags. So they are the crux of the HTML5 web application. So here I'll just type in a couple of words, for example. But before we go to that, let's just start here. I'm gonna go to W3C school. Now if you click here, you will land to this page, and over here you've got tutorials. Then you click on tutorials, you go to HTML, then you go to CSS. You see a lot of other languages if you want to learn them. Then when it comes to HTML5, you will go to this link. Now you check on this website, UNISA. We go to UNISA website. Now we land on the UNISA website. So whatever you see here, the links that you see over here are all HTML5 links, meaning that they are static. They're not dynamic. If they're dynamic, it means they are written in Python or PHP or other interactive languages that are responsive, or Java. Java is not JavaScript. There's a difference between Java and JavaScript. Java is a different language. Then there's JavaScript. JavaScript has a group below it. There's an umbrella, Bono.js, Knockout, jQuery. So it's a lot. For Angular. But Java is the overall standalone programming language. Then you see here that this thing that you see here that is red with this lady, it's a picture. So this is a picture. Okay? So basically you need a graphic designer to design the picture for you with the right size. Then you can embed it to your website. Then this thing that you see here, this box, is actually made of pure HTML and CSS3. So meaning that if you want to create an application that looks like this, you need two things. You need HTML5, you need CSS3 in order to create something like this. Now, if you click on apply, now you get all these applications that are interactive and so forth. Or if you click on My Unis, and now you have to put in your password, your username and password, and click on login. When you click on login, that language that reads the username and password is no longer HTML5 and CSS3. HTML5 is just to write the skill to design, and CSS3 is to beautify everything and put the nice colors, nice padding, white space over here. But as soon as you put in your username and password, there's a language that will take your username and password and go to the database and read if the credentials are correct and authenticate you to the platform. Then you can see your due date of assignments and what. That is not HTML5. The job of HTML5 is just to show you, to display the information that you see on the screen. This, the job of HTML5. The nice thing, the orange color with these calendars and everything, and the event, and this gray color is done using CSS3. So you need two things. One, HTML5 to CSS3. These two things allow you to code applications. Now, we are going to create HTML5 using Microsoft Office. So I'll go there, create new page, new. So over here, I will say my name. Okay, let's just say Unisa Web. Yeah, IRM4724 dash what? Like that. Do it this way, and then we'll put this in a color that we want. Let's say we put in a color. No, this one. Let's put this one blue. Put in blue with italic. So now what I have done here by applying this color. So this color here, this color scheme, everything here. This is CSS, beautifying the colors and everything. It's CSS. Pressing italic, it's CSS. Now, here I will use bold, which is CSS also. Then I will go to the font size. Let's say maybe I'll make it 26 to be nice. You understand? So if you, now what you see on your screen is basically HTML and CSS. So the color, you can put colors, you can bold, which CSS3. So CSS3, what you see over here on the weight, all the options that you see here, everything that you see here, the options that are available on CSS3. But when you're using CSS3, you're going to use what is called Notepad++. Just download that in a second. So when you use Notepad++, you will not be able to view what is currently showing here. So you won't have this option when you are coding on Notepad++, which is where web applications are coded. All web applications are coded through Notepad++ or through an IDE. We call it an IDE. You can use different types of IDEs to code your applications. But for the sake of this application, to make it easy for you, we'll use Notepad++. Go new file. So now you see over here, we've got our page. This is our page. So if I save this page, save as, understand, then I will go to my browse and create a folder in my desktop. I'll call it new folder, web page. We're testing now. Now you'll see here you have option as save as type. Yeah? Now the name of the file is IRM. Understand? And if you are coding an application, a real world application, the first page where you land, for example, here on my Unis, this is where you land. When you go to my Unisa website, you land to this page. You'll see over there on the link, it's written default. Either you save your file here as default.html or index.html. Always. Other than that, the web server won't know if this is the page that I must call when a person is landing on the page. So when you go www.google.com, so you are loading the index page of google.com, which is an HTML5. Although it might be generated by another language that is not HTML5 part. What you see on a browser every time, regardless of the application, is HTML5. It will never change. It's been like that ever since I was born and ever since the internet was born. It will be like that for the next coming few years. So whatever you see on a web browser, any application that is running on a web browser, it's a web application. Any application that is running without a web browser, it's called a standalone software. or desktop application. Anything that runs on a browser, if you see a URL like this and it's launching maybe Edge or Google Chrome, it's a web application. Now, walk with me. Now we're just gonna call this test.html. Put it there on our folder. So this is the folder. It's just a random folder that I create. Then under options, you see you only have Word, PDFs, and what. So we are going to create our own file. We call it web page. Then we give it an extension of .html. You click save. Now, when you save it, we go back to the folder in our desktop, web page. Now you see the file that we saved. It's test, but you notice that there's another folder that we didn't add, coming with other files. So you can see there it's color, schema mapping, file list, schema metadata. You understand? Now we launch this application via Chrome. Now you'll notice that I'm running the same application that I typed on my Word document, and it's actually a web page with the same italic and color and the font size of the dashboard. So meaning that whatever happens here when you code an application and what happens on Word processor is the same thing. The difference is that when you open your web page, you click on View Source Code, you see a lot of code that you don't know or don't understand. You understand? So Microsoft Word encode all of this for you. When you select the colors and padding and everything. So in actual fact, you can create a static website using Microsoft Word. You can put menus, you can put everything you want. For example, you can say admission, just like how they did it at UNISA. Register, and then you can change this to links. For example, if I change that and say insert, then I go into link, then I link this to Google. .com. Let's just say .com. Then I save the file. And if you browse, you refresh your page, the page is test. You see over there now it's a link. If I click on the link, it will go to that google.com. The reason why it didn't go is because the link is incorrect. So I can just do it here and say Google. So it means you must include HTTP. Let's go into that. On link, input HTTP and space back Google. Sorry about that, the mistake. Yes, I added another link on top of that. You just click again there. You see over there HTTP. Save. Okay. Then click save. Go back to our page. Just refresh. Back. Refresh. Click. There we go. You see now we are landing there. It means now our link is working. This one admission. So the links can link to like UNISA or whatsoever. So basically you can build an entire website with Microsoft Office. Problem is that it embeds code that you don't understand at the end of the day. If you click on views, page source code, all of this information you did not code when you only wrote words at them on your Microsoft Office. So hence now, this notepad was needed in order for you to code the information yourself. so that you can understand when you're running the page online and then it's displaying this, and then when you click on view source code, then you can see the source code that you have typed. Here you can see my name there, a lot of information that is encoded in here, but we didn't input that information. We only wrote this piece of information in the Word document, in our Word document. So now we're gonna go back to our W3 school. Here, then we're gonna click on then HTML. Now you land here, you see here there's home, introduction, editor, basic. You can play around with some of the stuff here, forms and everything, just to see how it works, how you code them and stuff. Now, once you follow the structure of the textbook, chapter has a piece of code that you can copy and try out. You must do that, but you must download this application, Notepad++. Now, if you click on here, try yourself, it runs. But immediately when you click on try yourself, it will run the code on this screen here. So this code actually outputs this information that you see here on the screen. Here, this code. See, this is the heading, this is the heading, this is a paragraph, this is a paragraph. But you don't see HTML, body, HTML, head, title, head, HTML. You don't see that information. Now we copy this information, we paste it here on our page, Notepad++. Now you'll notice that the code is black, so meaning that it's not compliant with HTML5, the file where we pasted, because it's not HTML5 compliant or HTML compliant. So in order for this file to comply, we must save it as, save the file, HTML. So Notepad++ makes it easy for you. You just scroll down here, the save as type, or you just press H, then you'll see the hypertext markup language file. So hypertext markup language file means HTML file. Then we can call it index. Then there's no need to put .html because already the save as type for you is inputted as hypertext markup language. Then we can create a folder in desktop. New folder, we call it IRM4724 101. Open, we click save. So now when we save it, now it changes. You see the colors now blue. So everything that is blue here is what we call HTML tags. In the cheat sheet, if you check, you'll find this piece of information, the cheat sheet for HTML5. This part here, title, every time when you code an HTML5 document, you start with this part. So number one, you'll have doc type. 2, you'll have HTML. 3, you'll have head. 4, you have your title with an opening tag and a closing tag. When we say it's an opening tag, we mean when it's like this. For example, let me just type here below. Less than, greater than. Less than, greater than. Space. So this is called an opening tag when it's like that. Inside there's nothing, and also this side there's nothing. Sorry about that. There's nothing. So when it's like this and like that, call this opening tag, opening tag. But once you put a forward slash, now it's called closing tag. This is an opening tag, closing tag. So whenever you have an opening tag, you must have a closing tag. As you see here, we have opening tag head. You click there, you have closing tag head. You have opening body tag. You have closing body tag. You have closing tag HTML. You have opening tag. The only thing that has an opening tag and not closing tag, only the doc type here. This code only shows you that this is actually an HTML5 document, nothing else. All the new applications that are coded in HTML5 will have this doc type at the top. Go to Unisa's website. Where is it? Over here. Go to default. Unisa. And we right click, click on view page. Now you'll notice that number 1 on the editor was coded as doc type HTML. Then the rest of the code follows. Now you'll notice that the second code on line 23 is HTML XML equals to HTTP www.3.org. Now this www.3.org, it's not www.3c school. It's actually the international standard for web application or organization that governs web applications. You'll see here they have accessibility, internet security, internationalization, privacy, web and industry, automotive and transportation, entertainment, TVs and broadcasting, publishing, web payments, web data. So a whole lot of information that is here. So in order your web application to comply, you need to participate by including that part of your source code, of their source code, to say, you know what, my application is actually compliant with w3.org. So if you take this entire, then you go to it. Now it will take you here. So to show you that the Unisa website follows the schema, the W3C XHTML namespace. Okay? Now if you go to basics, you'll see information pertaining to that, wala 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 wala. You understand? So basically it's just information to say when you structure, you have body, head, HTML type, text module, abbreviation, acronym name, address, you must use this. So if you are coding an address, you must actually use address as your acronym in this way. If you're coding a title, you must use type. If you're coding a block code, you must use block code. If you're breaking a line, you must use break. If you are citing, you must cite with this weight. If you're the code, area code, you must use this. If it DFN, div EM, H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. So all of this is just HTML tags that you must include in your web application in order for your web application to comply with the W3C. And now we'll go back to our application. So number 1, doc type must be there on your page. 2, HTML head followed by closing HTML head. So number 2, you'll see the red line from number 2 goes to number here on line 15 where there's closing. If I click on head, it follows the red line here, goes to head. If I click on body, same thing happens. You understand? But if you open a tag and you forget to close it, for example, let me make a mistake and not say body, just say pause. Yes, and do this. Now I click on body. You see, now it's not active because it can't read, but it shows you that I'm actually linked to that, but now there's a problem there. So now that problem needs to be fixed, which means you need to go back to the syntax and override that syntax. Then that is your number 4, number 5, number 6. Then you have your heading. Number 7, and you can have your paragraphs. 8, and you can have your images and whatsoever. So the structure will always be like this. Then when you start with your web application, when you have like your CSS and everything, your JavaScript code, you can put it here on the head, opening head here. Your title, you put it there. You can just put it below your title. Here, you put all the source code that you want. That's JavaScript or CSS3 or whatsoever, you put it here. When you are writing your JavaScript, depending where you want the event to occur, if you want it to be on the head, meaning that when the page loads, it needs to happen, you put it here in your JavaScript. When you want it to be on the body, when someone is clicking in the button or something, you put it here, depending on how you design your web page. The structure must be like this every time. These are not the only tags that are out there for web application in HTML. If you look at your study material, you will find that there's a lot of tags that are there, and some of them you can actually use them in conjunction with Node.js, Knockout, Angular, AS, and a lot of other JavaScript frameworks. Basically, the HTML follows this. You have your closing tag at the bottom, and your closing tag body, and the rest in between here, what you code. This is what we call your application, your web application. So if we save this, it save it as index.html. So now we run this file. Run it with our default viewer, make it Chrome. Run. You see, this is what you see. This is the heading, this is the paragraph. This information that you see here, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the information that I typed here, these numbers. So if I cancel this, you see now, this is not blue and it's not black like this one because it's not within the HTML text. You need to take that out. Save again. Go back to our page. Refresh. And there you go. Have a nice page. Now when you click on your view page source, now you only have the code that you typed, that you understand. Here's your H1 heading. Here's your paragraph. Here's your title. Now if you check here at the top, it's just that open so many tags. Let me just close a couple of them. Let me just pull this out. Yeah. If you check here on top, page type. This is page type. This is what you have typed. So the title is for the page here, the top. See if you hover, it says page type. Now if you go back to our HTML file, we change this to IRM4724 2022 June. Save that. Go back to our HTML file in the web browser, we'll refresh. You see now it has changed the type. You write view page source code. This the same as that. Whatever you're coding here, it displays here, it shows this, but doesn't show the tags. Tags are not showing here. And also, this line here that you see, this is a heading. It's on H1, so this is the biggest heading. They start from H1 up to H6. So if I use H6 here, let's code H6. H6. Save. Go back to the page, refresh. See how it's small. Work your way up, way down or way up from 6 backward. H4, H5, H4, H3, H1 is the biggest. If you put H3 for example, page 3, page 3, save. To the page, refresh. See now, it's big. You can change this information here to this is to save. Is the information we want to type. Refresh. There, we have it. If you want to break, this is the tutorial for. We want the 4, for example, to be like this. The same line of text. Copy. Open our Word document. We paste. Let's just open the other one we're working on. We cancel everything here. We paste our Word document. Just that now this one is showing as a web page since we saved it as a web page. Save on the paste on this one. Now, if it's like this, and then we want to break it with this, so you want to write it like this. Enter. Must be like this. Understand? Or want to just break it so that it's like this, not even bold. Not bold it. Just want to break it, not to even center the entire thing. Take it back, take it back. So all of these controls, center. This is CSS. Everything that you see here, CSS3. Everything that you see. Now, if you go back to our page, if I just in here, just include a code HTML tag BR or /BR is code. And also put it here, and tag BR. Have a closing tag. It doesn't have an opening tag and a closing tag. Now go back to our page. You see, there we have 4 in between. IRM is there. This is the tutorial, which is the same thing that is here. One is coded, the other one is typed on a Word document. Same thing, but different. If we do use source code, here it's straight. But when it's rendered on the web page, it's not straight. That's the difference. All these colors that you see here, everything when I want to put padding, references, layouts, designs, draw, insert, CSS3. Colors, everything, bullet, CSS3. Now, that is the intro to HTML5. Now I'll go deep to other aspects of HTML5 and CSS3, and then there's to JavaScript in the next tutorials that I will drop. But please practice with this. Just code this, copy the paragraph, write information that you have to write. For example, if you want to write a CV, you can write the CV here, then code the CV here, and then save it as cv.html and run it on the web browser and see how it looks and how it looks on the Word document. So basically, it's the same thing as what you do here. And the difference is that once you save an a document, a Word document, just like the one we're running, this one. See, now you have saved it in the folder. It's got so many things inside. But if you check the one here, it's the only file that is in there because we don't have CSS, we don't have JavaScript. If you put it with, you type the document, and Microsoft will create this for you, which is the CSS and everything that needs to be in there, keep the color and everything. But with you code the application with HTML5, you only have your file that you have coded with the code that you have coded inside your file. But basically, this is it. We'll go into inputs and everything. So now, if you go back to our W3C page, here, scroll up. For example, let's look at a button. Let's look for a button, graphics, media. Let's just look at YouTube, HTML YouTube. Yeah. So we use what is called iframe here. So whenever you want to reference a video to show up in your web page, just like when you go to other websites and then they show you music video whatsoever, like it's in their website, but it's not. It's actually on YouTube. They use what is called iframe to embed the video. You copy the source code, we go into our web page. Now, because we want to embed something, we can't put it on the head. Always put it on the body because that's where everything is happening. So I'm going to put it nicely in between the paragraphs, depending on how you want it. You can put it anywhere you want, but within the board. Now paste that YouTube. You see here, we have opening tag iframe, width 420, height 315. You can change this to width 500. Height, we can make it 960 or just make it 400 and then save. Then you go to our web page, refresh. See there, supposed to be a video. There we go. This video is not actually on our web page, it's on YouTube, but now it shows us if it's in our web page. Well, see. When you right click, view source code, you don't see the video here. You only see this reference, but it's only this piece of code that is actually making the video to show up. You can copy a lot of code and paste it here. So for today, I'm only going to stop here. Then tomorrow, we continue from here. And then I'll show you other cool stuff. But please, just practice, copy this code, paste it on a Notepad++, run it, try to add some other things from the cheat sheet like tables to see what actually displays. If something is wrong, like you're getting an error, just screenshot, send it on the group, then I will see, and you can do view source code, then take a screenshot and send it on the group. Now read the code, I'll tell you what's wrong, what you did put or didn't put. Yeah? Okay.